Hi, my name is Kimitina, and this screencast will show you how to use the Flubaroo Google Sheet add-on to help grade your quiz that you created in a Google form. So to save time, I created a Google Forms quiz on capitals. I have my questions in here, and they're all multiple choice. I can add open-ended questions in here as well, and grade them as well. But for this example, I'm just going to use the multiple choice feature. And what you're going to do is click on the response tab and click on the create sheet icon here. And you're going to be prompted to create a new sheet. So that means that all of the responses that you get from your students are going to be in a Google Sheet, which is easier because you can manipulate it. You can manipulate the data however you want. So I can highlight the first row and format it if I like, just so it's easier to read. All right, I can rearrange my columns, okay? So basically, all we did was create a Google Forms quiz and create the response sheet. Now, once you're in the response sheet, you need to add the Flubaroo add-on, and you only need to do this one time. And if you do it one time, you don't have to add it or install it again. It'll take effect for all Google Sheets that are created from this point on. So you're going to click on add-ons, go to get add-ons, and you're going to search for Flubaroo. And for me, it showed up here, but you may have to put it in the search bar and install it. And once it's installed, it's going to show up in your add-ons menu here. Now, for the first time, when you use it, it's going to ask you to enable Flubaroo in this sheet. So you're going to click on that so that you give it permission to access this sheet. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into the Google Forms. And what Flubaroo wants you to do is create an answer key for your quiz. So you need to basically take your own quiz. So I'm going to go into the preview mode. And where it prompts me to enter the full name, I'm going to type in answer key here. And I'm going to select my class period. And I'm going to go through the questions and answer the questions correctly. And then I'm going to hit submit. Okay. Now, if I go into the spreadsheet, you can see that my answer key response is recorded. And you need to do this for Flubaroo to work so that it knows which row is the correct answers. So now I'm going to run the Flubaroo add-on. So I'm going to go back to add-ons, go to Flubaroo, and I'm going to click on grade assignment. And Flubaroo is going to walk you through step by step on what you need to do. So for step one, it's basically asking you for point values for each question and how you want to grade it. The first two questions identify with the student, so that's why the points are grayed out. But if I wanted to go to the next question here, I can leave it as normal grading, or I can skip it, or I can grade it by hand. So if I hit grade by hand, that would be more for open-ended questions. So for this example, I'm going to leave it as normal grading. I'm going to change the point value. So I'm going to change the point value for all of my questions to 5 points. Okay, and I'm going to click continue. Now the next step is Flubaroo is asking you to select an answer key. So it's going through all the responses in the sheet, and it wants you to pick the answer key. That's why I had you type in the answer key for the full name. So I'm going to select the row that has the answer key. I'm going to click continue. Now what it's doing is it's grading your assignment. And Flubaroo actually creates a brand new tab in this spreadsheet, and it will color code the point value for each student, and it will format the information so it's easier for you to identify with. So this is just telling you that a new tab was created called grades, and you have the data in here. So at the bottom, you can see the student submissions, which is your original spreadsheet. And then you have a grades sheet as well that was populated from the Flubaroo add-on. And you can see here that it breaks it down. Possibly here, 25 points. The average score was 18.75. Counted submissions were 4. Number of low scoring questions, 1. And here it gives you more of a color code sequence of red, yellow, or green or orange, so that you can actually see the students that passed or failed or just maybe made the borderline. So for this example here, I have red, and this student failed below a certain percentage. Same with this one. Okay, so that's why they're in red, and if they're in black, then they passed a certain percentage. So you can see here that there's more information here on how many students really got all the questions right, or which question was more of a troubling question for that student. And it gives you a nice breakdown. Okay, so when you use Flubaroo, you can grab the grades from the spreadsheet, and you can then import them or enter them into your gradebook. What's nice about this too is that you can actually go back in and regrade the assignment. So if you needed to send this quiz out again to students, you can select regrade, and it will regrade and populate the row accordingly. Share grades is basically will allow you to email the grades to the students. So if you were grading questions by hand, this would be a nice way to actually read the responses for the open-ended questions, and have an email here set up where it will email the student and give them the score for the quiz. So that's a nice way of sharing the grades with them. And you can actually go through any of these here, and you can see what options are available. You can view the grading report here as well. So there's a lot of things in here that you can do. You can also give students feedback in here, but since we don't have email enabled for students, that's not going to be an option for you. So you would basically get the grade and post it into your Google Classroom or into OnCourse. I hope you found this screencast helpful.